I am going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. If you have your silhouette open and you have your template up and open, that would be helpful so that you can hopefully follow along with the steps that I'm going to show you. And this is not going to take us long. I know for those who don't have any experience in silhouette, this might go a little bit, over your head. So just follow along. Again, you'll have the recording for later. You can go back and watch these steps. But for those of you who already have a little bit of knowledge, you're probably going to understand and know which tools I'm talking about as I talk about them. And then we'll just go from there. Yes, Mia.
I have a quick question.
Before we get
Oh,
before we get started, can you start with how to open it up? Because I don't know which
absolutely.
template we're using.
I got you.
Um,
Okay,
I
so
have it. I just don't know which one, you know, and why.
um, so you want me to show you how you open how you bring in your document into,
Right. So can
okay,
you
Silhouette,
show us
please.
which because there's different files in the download, and so can you show us which one we're using and why we're using that one and how to bring it in, please?
well, I can't do exactly that. And the reason why is because someone asked me to add some letters to the hat for this particular rhinestone template. So all she sent me was the template itself. So I didn't actually purchase this file. It was a file that was sent to me
I
from
share my
someone else.
screen.
But what I would say is that if you want to, if you have your screen open, I mean, if you have your screen up and it's showing you what files, if you want to share, I can stop sharing my screen. You can share yours, and then I can tell you, hopefully by looking at it, what you should open.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so let me stop sharing for a minute and let you share.
Let me make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Okay. Do 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 do. Okay. Can you see my screen?
It's coming. Okay, so I can see your screen now.
Okay.
And
So my
you
template.
got your crosshairs turned on for a minute. Before you go anywhere else, I want you to go to, you see how you got them crosshairs and they're following you as your mouse goes across the screen?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go over there to your page setup icon. It's the very top icon on the left. No, go to the left of your screen, over there where it says send, and that very first icon at the top on the
Wait, I'm at
left.
the top.
I'm sorry, on the right,
This
Mia.
is the left. Oh,
I
I'm
get
like,
my left and rights
you
confused, so
mean
it's on the
your
right.
left? Hold on
No,
one second. Let
no,
me
I want
move.
you to go on the right.
Okay, hold on one second. Here we go. I needed to move that out the way. Okay. Where am I
Okay,
going?
so on the right, the very
Mm-hmm.
first icon at the top, that's your page setup panel.
Okay.
I want you to click on it, okay? And then I want you to go to the icon that looks like a grid at the top and
I
click
can.
on it. And you see how there's a bunch of check mark boxes there, and the box for crosshairs is checked. I want you to uncheck it. Okay, so now when you put your mouse back over your mat, you see your crosshairs are gone.
Awesome. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're welcome. So from here, for you to bring that file, so you would go to File,
Okay.
okay, and you could do two things. You could click Open or you could click Merge. If you click Open, Open is going to open a brand new document window in Silhouette. If you click Merge, Merge will bring in whatever you open into the document window that you're in. Okay,
Okay,
so
so
there's
we'll
two
do
ways to do
merge.
it. Neither one is wrong. But if you already have a clean window open, you can just merge your document into that window. So you want to go to wherever you purchased and stored that file. Now, what you have here, you have several. So the seller gave you the one on the end is the mock-up, right? Um, the one there's an EPS file, but I don't have access. I don't have a software program that can open EPS, so I would not be opening that. That one says Afro Girl One. The other
I
one
think
says
it's the lips and the
it is, but
earrings.
and it is a PNG file, right? So we don't want the PNG file, because that's just a picture file. That one is also a PNG file. So if you wanted to do that and I guess put it on a sublimated or DTF it or what have you, she's also provided you with the PNG. That's the mock-up, which is looks like what she uses on Etsy to advertise that particular template. So the one that we want is the one that says SVG. So it's that very first one. Okay, and so this is the rhinestone template. It's if you, Mia, click on your page setup again. And let's see, no, because they moved some, hold on one second. They moved some stuff in the new version of Silhouette. It is,
Now I tried to do to bring my file over, and it's saying the file type you are attempting to access is not supported. You know what? Let me go all the way out and come back in. All right, continue.
do
I'm
you
gonna try
have
to
the
go.
do you have the business edition of Silhouette? Because
Yeah.
if you do, it should say it right there at the very top of your screen. It should say Silhouette Studio Business Edition.
Okay. So let me go ahead and look. Okay.
Because if you don't have the business edition, you're not gonna I I won't say you won't be able to open an SVG, but you won't be able to utilize
Okay.
the rhinestone panel.
It's saying Silhouette Studio, but I know I had purchased the business edition. So let me go back and look. Maybe I didn't download it.
Yeah, this
Okay.
happens sometimes. I will say that this does happen sometimes. It's happened to me where somehow like my computer just loses, like it just loses the fact that I have business edition. So sometimes when I have to go back I have to open up Silhouette and go into the help and go out and, to the license and just put it all back in and then reopen Silhouette and then it works just fine.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so
So
anyway,
I'll do that.
yeah, try that and then come back and let us know, where you are. So, um, I think, Mia, the page that I'm looking for now, like I said, things have changed in this new 5.0 version of Silhouette. So they've moved some of the icons, they took some things and put them in different places. So I'm still learning this new interface, but I believe the one under the A on that toolbar on the right, I think under the A, I think that, can you click on that one? Okay, that's the registration mark. So that's not that one. I'm looking for the one where we can just at least turn our go back to grid for a minute where I showed you earlier with the crosshairs. So you're already in it, in the page setup, that icon to the right there. Yes. That's not it. I wanted to just get your mat to a 12 inches, but like I said, they moved some things and I'm not 100% where everything has gotten moved to. Try, you know what? Go down to that second A with the pencil, but please don't click on that. And click that icon between that A with the pencil and that puzzle piece. It looks like a printer. I think
Tanya,
so. Keep going over to the
down
right.
here. This one
Yes,
down here.
not that one. Don't click that. Click that.
Oh, where am I?
Yeah, click that
This
one for a minute. Yeah.
the pop-up panel.
Yeah, I don't think that's it, but just click it for me for a minute. Nope, that's not it either. Okay. All right. I can't figure it out right the moment to show Mia how to make her just to get her map. And it could be just the way it looks on her screen to me, but you can still work like this. This is fine. So now you have the file on your screen. Okay. So I'm gonna go back. Can you stop sharing yours now? And then I'll go back and share mine.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Does everybody else who has the file have it up on their Silhouette? Okay. All right. So here's the original template, right?
Yes.
This is what the seller has provided us. We all know, well, I won't say we all know, but once you bring in a template, It cannot be resized, right? We can't go and click on it and stretch it and say, oh, this design is 10.349 inches in height and 9.256 inches in width. And I want to make it larger, right? I want to go ahead, I want to make it big. I want to put it on the back of we can't do that, right? Because we know if we do that, that's going to change our hole size. And then when we go to cut our template is not going to cut properly. So whatever template you buy, whatever size it is, that's the size of the template. Okay, so know that before you buy something, whether or not it's actually going to fit the garment that you are planning to use it for. Okay, so this seller has given us this file. She's grouped the hat and the hair and everything is all one piece. And then she has the earrings and the lips grouped as her second layer. So if you were to cut this is what you would cut. You would cut the black piece and then you would cut the earrings and the lips. Okay. So I'm going to just go ahead and put everything back. Okay. So I want to add color to this design, right? And right now, as it currently stands, we can't do anything with it, right? You just have the dots as they are. But because we have Silhouette and we know how to use our software, we're going to go in here and we're going to make this design a little bit different than the way the seller gave it to us. So what I want to do is I want to add the color into her hat. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my tools over here on the right-hand side of my screen. And the first thing I want to do is I want to open up the offset panel, okay? And the offset panel is the one over here that looks like a double star, okay? So I'm going to click on my offset panel, and then I'm going to click on the design, okay? Because I got to be able to click on the design in order to make the offset. So I'm going to click on the design, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click offset. Now, after I click offset, you're going to see over here in the distance, okay, the distance is the amount of space that is around the object that you just created, that you just clicked on, and the distance from the offset from the original design, okay? So this distance right now is at 0.210, okay? I'm going to bring this distance down to 0.135, okay? And the reason I'm going to bring it down to 0.135 is because I know that my hole size for my rhinestone templates, the standard is 0.130, right? Everybody aware that your hole size for an SS10 rhinestone is typically 0.130. So if I bring my distance in my offset down to 0.135, when I go into the rhinestone panel, which I'm going to do, which is this icon down here at the bottom that looks like a rhinestone, okay? When I click on that, and that offset that I just created, if I click on, and I'm going to use the edge fill for now, and it's going to look a little funky, but just bear with me. If I click on the edge fill, we see how our stones are going to line up against the stones that are already in this template. You guys see that? If I zoom in a little bit, you see how where our stones are going to line up at a distance of 0.135? Okay, now that's what I want, right? Because I want to have enough space between the holes that are already existing and the new parts of the design that I'm getting ready to create. So I like this distance at 0.135. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to click anywhere on my mat to deselect the offset. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, well, I'm going to click on the offset again. I'm going to click on the offset and I'm going to right click with my mouse and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click release compound path. Okay. And when I release the compound path, all of the parts of the offset that I created that were separated, that did not clump together are now their own individual parts of this design. Okay. So as you can see, there's a box. Several boxes have popped up after I click the release compound path. And now I can manipulate those individual parts of the design. So here is that inside portion of the hat. Okay. And then here's the panel on the side. I just move it out the way so you can see it. And then we have the brim. Oops, I moved the actual design. But here is that inside brim of the hat. And those are the pieces of the design that we now want to work with. So if anybody was following along with me, do you have those pieces of the design?
Yeah, I was following along with you, and I clicked everything, but all of my pieces line going through it, like it's connecting the dots. Or
So
so
did you use the same spacing that I used?
the 0.135 I did.
You did? Okay. Um, did you let me see.
Let me go back and make sure that it stayed. I put apply.
So I'm gonna go back. I'm just gonna use my back arrow key up here. Up here, is your undo
I'm gonna
and
do
your
the same
redo.
thing. I'm
Hmm?
gonna go back. I'm gonna press all my undos
Yeah, we're
and get
gonna
all
go
the
back
way
and do
to the
undo
beginning.
and go right back to the beginning. It's always
Okay.
the best. And we're gonna make sure that your template should have come in at the same size my template was, right? Just verify that you have a
Oh,
height of a height of 10.349 and a width of
so I don't.
9.256. You
So I
don't.
don't. The SVG that I purchased, I just pulled it in on the business edition, and it's 10.61 by 9.25. Maybe that's the difference. My length is definitely different because it's
Hmm.
10.619.
Uh-huh.
And then let me pull it in from the
And let me
I'm gonna
just double check.
I'm gonna reload it again
All right, and I'm going to
from
also double check something on my end and make sure that I did not resize this design, right? Because I've been working with it for a day or two now. I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna release my compound path
Excuse me,
so
Tanya.
that,
I
yes,
just purchased mine and my size is the same as yours, and I haven't resized it or anything.
I
okay,
don't know how mine is. I didn't move it, so I'm
right,
I purchased it this morning, so I'm re-uploading it because I didn't touch it.
okay.
And
You pulled in a SVG? Did you
Yeah, I
pull
think
in the
she
one
said she
that's
pulled in the
yes,
SVG.
yes, it's a SVG.
I'm sorry to
oh, I
interrupt.
reloaded it and it worked. It's your size now.
It is, okay.
Mhm.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't. How do I see the size on mine's?
Um, when
Working.
you, when you
I'm more.
click on it,
Mm-hmm.
when you click on it and the box comes around the entire image, you get a box that comes around the entire image.
Uh-huh.
Do do you see on the edges of the box, there are numbers on the top, on the side, on the left-hand side of it, and then on the bottom.
So I'm more familiar with Cricut. So like when I bring it in on Cricut, if I click on it, it just brings it up. So I have to, oh, there it is. Okay, I see it.
And it'll also show up on your toolbar. Just like in Design Space, there's a height
Oh,
and a
there.
width.
I didn't
But
see it at first. Thank you.
right. But in
But,
Silhouette, you sometimes you'll only see that in your toolbar when the whole item is grouped together as one piece.
mhm.
It may not show it to you in the toolbar if the whole thing is not grouped together. And then that's when you have to look at it from the scale box. But the scale box will always show you on the left of the scale, and then at the bottom, you'll always see your height and width.
I see it now. I think I had to touch something or I had to do something different and it showed up. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yes, Mia.
So my silhouette did something crazy. I don't see that you have the offset still. What did
I
you
took
do
it
with the
off.
offset?
I
Why
took it
did you take
back.
it off?
I went
Why?
back. I used my undo button to try to get Elizabeth where she needed to go. So I
Oh,
just
okay.
removed it. So just but put it back. Now that everybody
Awesome.
has their image and everybody's image is the same size, I'm gonna go ahead and do those steps again. Okay.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna click on our template. Okay. And I'm gonna go back over here to the offset tool. Again, that is that double star. And I'm gonna click offset. And the offset, when you click on it, it will remember the last offset that you used. So because I had already set my offset for 0.135 in distance, it automatically gave us that distance when I clicked on it just now. So I know I'm already happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and right click while my offset is still highlighted. Okay. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to release the compound path. So when I release the compound path, all of the parts of the offset that are now individual parts and pieces, I can either use them or delete them. Okay. So I don't need what's around.
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
I'm sorry. So I have my offset, but it's grayed out. I can't do anything with it. How do I change that?
Let me see. Let me stop sharing because I have to see. I'm a visual. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can share yours so that I can see what's going on with your screen.
So I'm doing it on two different things. So I can't share my screen. I will,
Okay.
I'm just gonna turn my camera around. I'm listening on my phone and doing it on my, so let me turn my camera around real quick.
All right.
Maybe, if I can figure it out. I don't know how to turn my camera around.
Oh,
Well, I just turn my phone around.
There you turn your phone around for a minute. Okay, I see right now I see your screen and I see where your offset is grayed out. And whenever anything is grayed out, it's because you haven't selected anything for the panel to work on. So let's click on the rhinestone template.
Okay.
Okay, so now that you have that box around it, see your panel is not grayed out anymore.
Okay, so let me see. Yeah, I can't, I clicked here.
Oh, there's the offset. I already see it.
Where? I didn't put anything on there.
But I see the lines inside you see the lines inside of the
I see it, but I didn't do anything because it's been grayed out.
Oh, well, that is interesting, but I can definitely see that there's an offset there.
Yeah, I see it. I
The
mean, I see what you're
offset
talking about
takes a
now.
little bit. Mine's took like a few delayed seconds to process. Even though I clicked it, it took like 15 seconds before it popped up.
Okay, so there we go. Now, okay, so what size am I doing?
Well, let's see. It should be 0.135. That looks like what that says, 85.
Okay, I had to re-download, so I have it now. So if you could just go over the first two steps real quick. I'm a quick learner, so just so I can keep up with you guys.
So you want me to do the offset again?
Please.
Sure. But Mary, are you okay now? Did you get
I'm
yours
good.
to 0.135?
Yes, ma'am. Do I just click this little, it's there. Oh, and then apply. Okay, I see it.
Okay, so you hold on to where you are. And then let me go back. Let me share my screen again. Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you for being so patient with us. I appreciate it. With me, I must say.
I'm with
I'm included.
Mia is my longtime friend here. She'll tell you. Like I said, I have the patience of Job. I wish that when I started this journey, I wish that there was somebody like me that I could have learned from. And so I try to impart that because I know what it felt like when I was learning. So I'm happy to help you guys along the way. That's why we're doing this, because I want you to learn. Okay, so I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna just get rid of my my offset real quick.
Now, am I supposed to see the grid?
Okay, so you have some things turned on, like Mia did.
Okay.
If you go to and you probably have a lot of things that are going on with your silhouette right now. So hold on one second. Let me get rid of this.
Okay.
Let me go back for a minute. Give me 1 second. Let me just go back and get rid of this. Okay. All right. What I want you to do, everybody just bear with us real quick. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to go to File. Wait a minute. No, I want you to go to Edit.
Okay,
And I
edit.
want you to go, and I want you to go to Preferences.
Preferences.
And if anybody else has an issue, and I don't think so because no one has said anything, but if you ever are using your silhouette and your cursor, you click on something and every time you click on it, it continues. Like if you click on a shape and it continues to keep making the same shape over and over and over again until you click the arrow. And then this is how you can turn that off. So just want to make sure that you're not having that problem before we get started. But in order to, what you do is you go into your preferences, and this is kind of where you go and you can set up some things on how you use your, what shows up on your screen, what things are automatic on, and so forth and so on. But the one thing that I like to do is I want to come in and I want to go to my tools. So just wanted to go to tools real quick
Okay.
and make sure that the action after tool use says choose select.
Yeah.
Okay. Action after tool use. It says after creating a shape,
Right?
after drawing freehand. Is that where I'm supposed to be?
Yes. And right next to that, does it say, what does it say? Does it say choose select?
No, it says continue drawing shapes.
Right. So if we went into, and I'm going to show you what that means. If you go right now and you go over here to the shape tools. So over here on the right-hand side of the screen, like the star, if you click on, or the box or any one of those shape tools, if you click on that, right? If you click on it and then you go and you draw out your shape.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to do something else, it's going to start drawing out another shape.
Okay.
Right. And that's going to get very confusing and irritating. And that's not what you want. You want to draw your shape and then you want to go do the next thing. So in order for your cursor to go and do the next thing, you have to tell it that after you do something, you want it to choose select. Like you want to be able to make the next choice for what the tool
Okay.
does. So I want you to go in and under the drop box, under the down arrow, go in and choose the option for choose select for all of
Okay.
those actions after tool
Okay.
use.
Okay, done.
Okay. So when you do that, then you're going to click OK,
Okay.
and then you're going to click apply.
It just said okay, it didn't give me apply. So let me go back into edit and see. Edit, preferences, tools. It's okay. They're all at choose select.
Okay. So then we're good. So we can come out of that.
Okay.
Okay. And now we can, so you have your template.
I have my template, but my template is not the full grid like yours.
It's probably because it could be because your mat size is not showing up as a 12 by 12.
Okay.
And right now I cannot remember in this new interface where they moved that to.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. As long as you have it up on you. Well, it in some ways it does matter, but it won't matter for this particular right now. Just make sure that the at least her hat, at least the part of her hat is in the design space area.
Yes.
Okay. So, and your design is at the same dimensions as the rest of ours. We're looking at it and it says it's 10.39 inches, 10.349 inches in height, and 9.256 inches in width.
No, I don't believe that that's okay. So how do I change that?
Well, first of all, don't change anything just yet,
Okay,
because
wait.
when you buy a template, it's supposed to come in at the, it's supposed to be at the size you need it to be. But when you click on it and the box shows up around the entire template,
Okay.
what
So
numbers do you see on the left? I mean, on the
okay,
right, what
so
numbers do you see? No, what numbers do you see on the left?
okay, so for height I have 10.349
Okay,
and for width I have 9.256.
okay, then you're perfect.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so now that your box is selected, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go over to the right-hand side of your screen, and there are a bunch of a bunch of icons on the very left,
Okay.
right? And the one that we're going to click is the offset panel, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10th icon down from the top, and it looks like a double star.
Okay. A double star? Okay, well, maybe let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Offset.
Okay, so that's your offset panel. And what we want to do is we want to create a border around this template, right? Because when we
Okay.
create the offset also tries to fill in any empty space that it finds, right? So if you're familiar, if you work in Cricut and all you, you're familiar with offsets, you understand that it's going to create a border around the image. Okay.
Okay.
In Silhouette, wherever there's an open space, the offset is going to try to fill that open space as well. So we're going to click on our offset, and we're going to change the distance to 0.135. And the
Okay.
reason I choose the 0.135 is because I know that my hole size for SS10 rhinestone is typically 0.130. That's the
Okay.
default in Silhouette. Okay. So I want my rhinestone, when I'm creating my layer, I want that stone to fall up against the one above it. Okay. But I
Okay.
also want to give it a little bit of space. So if I choose the 0.135, that stone should show up right next to the other stone.
Okay.
Okay. So now that we have our distance at 0.135, I'm going to right click while my offset is still selected. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click release compound path.
Okay. Release compound path. Okay.
Okay. Now, when you release the compound path, oh, wait a minute. I got to go back because I didn't have my whole thing selected. But anyway, you release compound path. And when you do that, you should now have a box around all of the little elements that the
Yes.
offset created, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we want, because what we want now, we want the inside pieces of the hat. That's what we want to work with. So everything else we can get rid of. So the outline around her hair and the hat, you can click on it and just move it out of the way and delete it. If you wanted it, you could keep it because you could make an outline around that design.
Okay.
Um,
How do we move that?
so you just you click on the red line, right? And you'll know that you've clicked on the right portion of your design. If you look over at the top part of your screen in the corner on the left, above your cursor, that's blue, right? There's a
Okay.
box up there that's got like a grid. And then
Okay.
right,
So I have but when I click on the red, it gives me like a box
uh-huh,
that it's not moving. It gives me like a dash box.
like a dashed box.
And when she finished figuring out hers as well, mine is coming off, and so even the one around the nose, ears, is you see how yours stay, the neck, and yours come only the outline comes out. Mine didn't. It came out all together, all red pieces.
Did you release the compound path?
Then let me go back. Yeah, because if you release the compound path, then you have like a million pieces, right? Everything is by itself.
Right, but if you release just the offset, only the offset pieces that were individual should do that. So you shouldn't have a million pieces, but you should have the pieces that are inside the hat. You'll
Starting
have this
again.
piece that's her neck.
I'm just gonna start again and start from 0135. I thought I was caught up, but it's not letting me take off that that
Elizabeth,
yes.
if you did that, I just did that, and you may have selected the inside offsets that and the outside. So you want to click off of it and select just the outside red. I just
Okay.
did
Okay.
that same thing, but use
Let
the
me do
undo.
that. Let me fix
Use the
that.
use the undo button so that you don't have to start from the beginning.
Okay, so let me go
Okay.
to undo, and then let me try to do the offset again. Offset, and then when I click offset, it's not letting me. Okay, now I got it to 0.135.
Okay.
I hit apply. The red, the red shows up. Now I need to move the box.
Right, but what I'm gonna
You have
tell
to
you,
release the compound path, she
but
said.
what I'm gonna tell you too is if you don't click, okay, so typically you would click apply, right? You would click apply and then apply would let you move on to the next thing. But when
Okay.
you click apply, what happens is it also deselects your offset. Okay.
Okay.
If you create your offset and straight from there, while that offset is still selected and just do the right click and release the compound path, it will release what you were last working on. But if you come off of it and you click apply, it's now waiting for you to do the next thing. So then you have to click it again. And sometimes you might not click the offset, you might click something else because it's so close. So that could have been what happened the first time. Like after you clicked apply, then when you click something else, you just weren't on the offset.
Now see, when I move it, the whole template moves.
Right.
Okay. I'm
Because you're still selected because remember when we clicked it the first time, we clicked the template. When we created the offset, it then gave us the offset and the template. If you don't deselect, you still have both of those things connected together. It's
okay. Let me try to go back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm undoing everything because this,
Right.
yeah,
I'm gonna
look like
start.
I double offset this thing.
yeah,
Right.
and that will
So
happen too. That will happen too.
okay, so I'm gonna go to offset.
I'm so sorry. I feel so slow.
Why?
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
sorry for all the
Okay.
people that I keep having to repeat this for.
Um.
Anybody else on here feel sorry? Okay, so let's keep going.
Oh,
We're
I
all here
can't.
to learn together.
Now it's not letting me. Okay. Is there any way that I can delete this and then? Okay, let me quit and then come back in.
Can
Okay.
sometimes that's always the easier
I
option
literally
too. To
just
start from
reloaded
scratch.
the literally just
Yeah, I'm
reloaded
gonna.
it because I don't know how to fix it.
Tanya, I have a question.
Yes.
How can I double check if I release the compound path? I'm not sure if I did.
If you move well, first of all, if you want to just check, you can just click on something. Um, like see, I've just clicked on the box inside the hat, and how I get the box that just goes around the hat and
Yes.
not on this. So that tells me that I've released the because it's only selecting that one area.
Okay, so if I didn't, I should select all of it and then release.
And then try it right. And then right
Am
click
I
and see if the
releasing
release.
the rhinestones or
No,
wait,
we're not
what am I?
releasing the rhinestones.
Okay. Can you please walk me through releasing the compound path?
Yes. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go undo. And maybe if we do it this way and I remove first, let me go back. Let me go back. Okay, so here's my template. I'm
Okay.
gonna come in here. I'm gonna group this whole thing together because right now I have two things here, right? If you can see my screen, I have two boxes. I have the box that's around the hat and her hair. And if you look in the middle, you'll see there's a box also around the earrings and the lips, right? So that means there's two elements that are currently selected on my design mat. I'm gonna right click and I'm just gonna go ahead and group both of those things together. So you see how the
Okay.
inside box went away? So now everything is grouped together. That means I can move this and everything stays together.
Okay. Uh, including her earrings, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So how do we get the box?
Okay. So when you click on the anywhere on the template, it should
Oh,
put a box around at least all of the hair and the hat.
okay. I have the box now.
Okay. So now when you do that, if you hold your shift key,
Oh.
and click
Okay.
her earring,
Okay.
do you get another box?
Yes.
Okay, now I want you to right click
Okay.
and do group.
Um, it doesn't, group is not, is grayed out for me.
Really?
Yes.
But did you select more than one thing? Because if it's just one thing, it would be great.
Okay, so let's see. Let me click on her earring.
If you click on her earring and you get a box that goes around it, that means that it is a separate, right now it's separate, because I'm gonna go back, because I want to see. Let me just go back. Okay, see? When I
Yeah.
when I click on her hair,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I move that, it moves all of that, because all of those
Right.
rhinestones have been grouped together and it left the earrings and everything where they were. So that
Correct.
means there's two elements on my screen.
Okay, I have that.
Do you have that? Okay, so let's go
Yes.
back and do undo, because we want to keep everything together.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so we undo. So if right now the box is still around the hat and her hair, right?
Uh,
If not, just click it. Click her hair or something.
yes, it's there.
Okay, so now hold your shift key
Okay.
and then
Shift
click on the
key
earring.
and then click on the earring. Okay.
And you should see a box that goes around the earrings now.
Okay, wait. Okay. Shift key, hold her earring. There's the box. Yes.
Okay, now right click with your mouse
Right click.
and
Okay.
with both things are still selected, just right click with your mouse and your group, you should be able to group those two things together.
No, mine is it's not
Then you may have come off of you may have inadvertently unselected the earrings, because both things have to be highlighted. So I'll tell you what you do. So when that happens and it's like it's
mm-hmm,
frustrating, don't fight the software, right? Just
mm-hmm,
the, go up to anywhere where there's a blank space,
mm-hmm.
right? And click with your mouse and then just drag the box around everything. So go
Okay.
from one corner to the other,
Okay.
right? And then you can release the
Okay,
mouse,
I did
right
that.
click, and do you get group now?
Yes.
Okay. So let's group everything together.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Okay, so now that we have everything together, is everybody's image all grouped together who needed to get to this point?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got our image, it's all selected. We don't have to worry. If we click it, we move it. We don't have to worry about anything being left behind. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna create that offset. I'm gonna click offset. It already gives me my distance at 0.135. That's what I want, okay? If you click apply, you can click apply. You should see all your pieces, right? You see the piece that made inside the hat, the pieces that made inside the offset that came in around her neck and all of her face and everything. Let's go ahead and just click anywhere on our mat, anywhere on our screen, right? So we deselected everything. And I want you to click on the rhinestone template portion and just drag it out of the way like that.
I got it.
Okay, so does everybody have something that looks like what they see on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so from there, this tells you that you have, and anything that is not connected, if you right click and click release compound path, the things that are not connected to one another are going to become their own individual object.
Okay, where do we find the release compound path?
You click on the off when you right click when you have it selected. So make sure you have a box around the entire
Okay.
offset.
Okay.
You right click with your
Mm-hmm.
mouse and you should see release compound path.
Okay, and then we click that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I have that.
Okay, so
Thank
everybody
you.
got boxes around
Oh,
They're offset.
did I release it? Oh, you saying I
Undo.
should have several boxes
Yes.
every time I click? Okay, yeah. So that's correct then.
Okay.
So
So
mine
now
says make compound path, so that means that compound path was already released. Is that right?
that's exactly right.
Okay.
Right. So it's once you release the compound path, there is no compound path to make. So the only thing you could do is make one.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay. So now I'm gonna deselect. Okay. And now I can move all of those individual pieces, right? Because they're now all separate objects after after we release the path. So I don't want, well, I'm not gonna say I don't want it. I'm just gonna take the outline for her hair and I'm just gonna move it off to the side, right? Maybe I'll revisit that later. Maybe I will try, maybe I will use it for something.
Now, what if what if it's not moving?
It
Okay.
should.
Okay. All right. This is crazy.
It's not crazy.
Okay. Let me see. Let me, and then release compound path. Yes.
Right? And then just click anywhere on your screen so that you deselect from what you were working on so that you can now do something different.
It's not moving. Okay, let me try this again. So let me group that together. Well, not group, but okay. Now it says make compound path. So the other one is not there anymore.
Right. So if it's asking you to make a compound, so you drew a box around all of the red lines, right?
Yes.
And then when you right click, you're getting an option to make compound path.
But you see, it's like when I use my mouse, it's drawing another box. So let me go back up to the edit and the preference and the tools like you had told me before.
Uh-huh. So
And
you
every go on, I'm sorry.
right. So I was just going to go back with you and you go to edit, you go to preferences,
Mm-hmm.
you go to tools,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to make sure that all of those actions after tool use say choose select.
Yes, they all say choose select.
Okay. But you don't see a box that says at the bottom where it says okay, cancel, and apply.
It says okay. Okay. Preferences, tools, okay, apply. But apply is not
Great, is
apply
grayed out.
correct.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's change the after creating a shape. Let's just change it to continue drawing shapes.
okay, after creating shape. Okay.
So now when you change it to say continue drawing a shape, is the apply still grayed out?
It looks like I could click it.
Okay, so go ahead and do okay,
Okay.
oops, and apply.
When I do okay, it goes away.
It went away. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go back into it again. So
Okay.
let's go back to edit. Let's go back to preferences. Let's go back to tools.
Okay.
And then is it say continue drawing shapes?
No. Yes, but now okay, so let me go. I'm gonna go back to the choose select and hit apply
So
and
right, let's go
see.
back to choose select, hit apply. I probably was apply and then okay.
Okay, apply and then okay. Oh my goodness, these boxes are still okay. It's still not doing. Okay, let's see. Okay, now it did it.
You did it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so are you able to move the pieces inside your offset?
Okay. I just moved one and now it's not moving. Okay, let me okay. I had just moved one and now it's not moving.
Yeah, just go back, use your undo.
Okay. my undo. See, it's like my mouse is drawing. Okay, let me go back to drawing spaces, apply, and then hit OK. Let's see. Now let me try to move my hair. No, it's not. Okay, I'll try to figure this out. I don't want to hold everybody else up.
Okay, we'll come back and we can revisit it at the end of class if you're still having
Okay.
problem, okay?
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So everybody else who's there with me, like I said, we have our I moved the hair out of the way because I don't need it now. I'm not going to use the portion of the neck to do anything with, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to delete it. Okay. And I'm not going to do anything with the offset part that it made of her face. We're not going to do anything with that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And anything else that was associated with that. So all of these other little pieces, I'm going to get rid of. Okay. So now the only thing that we have left are the inside portions of the hat. Okay. And if that was all that we wanted to do, technically we would be like 95% of the way done because we could bring our rhinestone template back onto the mat, right? And kind of get everything back positioned the way we want it. We may have to I moved some of these pieces, so that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and try to line them back up where they go. And you just click on each individual one. And I was saying earlier, if you want to know what part of the design that you are working with, over here, if you follow me up here to the top, I'm here, my cursor is over here under the word file. Below the black toolbar, you have this grid. This is your color palette, okay? Because if you click the drop down arrow where my cursor currently is right now, you'll see all of the options that you can change for the color. And the one next to it is the outline. So it's the same tools that are over here on the left. Over here on the right. It's the same tools. Your paint palette. Okay. So there's the paint palette. And then the other one directly below it is the line style panel. Okay. Which is for your outlines. So those two things are the same. You can just find them in two different places. But when you look at it from over here on this side of the screen, it'll also tell you what is currently selected. So right now, if I click on the rhinestone portion of the template, you guys see how that box went from being the grid to black? I'm going to click off of it. And you see how it's now it's a grid with no color. If I click on the rhinestone template in her hair area, and this is black, it turned to black. So that is a way for you to kind of know what's currently selected before you start moving things around. So if that's not what you want, then you want to go ahead and make sure that you select what it is you want to work on. So if I go back here and I try to click this inside part of her brim, okay, it's now drawn the box around just that portion. So now I know I'm working on that section of the design and not the other portion. So that's just kind of like a visual in some ways for you to see exactly what you have currently selected with your pointer tool. So I'm going to keep going back here and it's going to kind of, like I said, line these things back up. And go ahead, ask your question.
I seen Felisa said that she is riding as her hubby's driving, but question, I was looking for the app on my tablet. Did they get rid of it? I never personally I never thought that the Silhouette app worked good at
I
all.
never, in 3 years, like I said, 3 years I've owned this software. I didn't even know an app existed.
It wasn't Felisa, if I had to be honest, they never was able to make it compatible appropriately. My I could not figure it out. It was not, I use it all the time for HTV and all that. It didn't work for me. Maybe user error.
So,
That was her question. I seen that she was
okay.
writing, so I just wanted to tell you because I know you probably didn't see the chat.
I didn't. I didn't. So I appreciate you monitoring that. Thank you. Um, so so now that we have our three pieces, right? We can now work with these three pieces, right? Let's say you have options here. You wanted to do a design that was rhinestones and glitter, right? You could do that now. You could take this and let's go over to the rhinestone panel, right? Which is our little fifth icon over here down at the bottom, top from the bottom. We click on it. The rhinestone panel has three different effects. Well, technically there's four, but there's no effect, which is what we currently have right now. And that is this one right here, this very first one that says none, right? There's no rhinestone effect turned on. The one next to it is called the edge fill. The edge fill is the one that will will turn your object into stones on the edge of the design. So if I click on it, that piece that we're working on, it now just put the rhinestones on the edge. Okay. The one next to that is called the linear fill. The linear fill is the one where your stones go from left to right, horizontal and vertical in a straight line. Okay. So when I click on that, it turns that part of the object into the linear fill. And the last option that we have to work with is called radial. The radial fill is the one that you can use when you have designs that have circular shapes to them, because it will put those stones in a more circular pattern. The caveat to that is that it tries to fit everything in the circular pattern. So your stones may have spaces in between them because of the way the software tries to fit the hole. And a hole is a hole. It has to have the space in order for it to fit. So you may find that you have more spaces when you use the radial fill than you do when you have the linear fill. But linear fill also has its limitations because it does everything on a straight line. And sometimes you don't get the straight line, the curvature that you like. But I'm going to go ahead and turn those into a color so that we can see them better. So I'm going to turn those to this blue color. And then I'm going to go over here to the line style panel. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the red outline that it puts around everything. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And in order to do that, you click this one over here, the second icon over here at the top, you click it. It's the line color. And I'm going to click the open triangle, which is none. So I'm going to go ahead and click that so that there's no outline around my circles so I can see them better. And that's basically what this looks like, right? We have this in the radial fill panel. So
Oh,
let's go
sorry.
back.
The
Go
open
ahead.
triangle, where's that open?
So under your when you click on the line and then you have all of these different colors, there should be one that just has like a triangle by itself.
It made my rhinestone stuff disappear.
That's probably, did you already have a red line around,
Let me, so I turned them, so going back, sorry, you left the rhinestones in a circular pattern, right? You
right?
use a circular one. It definitely has way more spaces than yours. But then after that, you went back to line, and then we went to the second one, which is recently used and with the line. And
Right,
then the one next to fill color. Well, mine says line color, says fill
right,
color.
right. So you got fill color. Okay, so in your line style pattern,
Mm-hmm.
there's two icons. There's one, the very first one, which opens up this one that gives you the option to change the line thickness, the line style. That's working with the line itself. We want to work with the color. So you click the one next to it, it opens up
Right. Which is line color.
right, which opens up the line color. And
Mine
your
says line
recently
color
used,
fill.
right? It'll give you your recently used, whatever you recently used will show up here. But then all the options for color are also below it. And do you see the one that has a triangle inside of the box?
Yes.
Right? That one will turn off the line color.
Okay. I think
If
I
you
got
click
it
in,
now.
right, because if you say, for instance, if we were in here and I go to my paint palette and I turn my stones white, when I turn my stones white, you're not going to see them, right? And the reason you don't see
Mm-hmm.
them is because I turned the outline off. But if I go back to my line style and I click on the line color, I can turn that color to green.
Okay.
So the stone
Got
is
it.
still white on the background, but it just gave me an outline so that I could see them. So
So
some
when you originally changed yours, did you go to the palette and change the color of it, or you only changed the line to make
I
it
only
green?
changed the line because it was already white. But I had already gone into my paint palette and turned the color of my stones into a color. So once I
Okay.
did
I just want
that,
to make sure I didn't do it wrong.
yeah, once I did that, that's where they came up, and then I turned off the outline.
Okay. I wonder why my stones are so far.
It could be, let me see, did I haven't done the spacing yet? Oh, I did. Actually, I did do the spacing. So the reason your stones are probably that way is because it's still on the default for spacing. And when you open up
Right.
the rhinestone
Zero
panel,
point
your
zero
spacing says
three nine.
0.39. Yes. So if
Yes.
you change your spacing to 0.020, they should
Okay.
look like mine.
That now. Yep. They do look like yours now.
Okay. I was going to get to that in the next step, but I guess I may
Sorry.
have already
Sorry. I
turned it. It's
just was
okay.
like, wait, how did she get hers?
Don't worry
They
about it. Don't worry about it. So I've got this one done. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click on this inside part of the hat. I'm going to go ahead and use the radial fill for that one. And I'm going to head and turn the color to the same color. And I'll turn the line off. And I guess I didn't use the same color. Let me go back. Oh, I know what it is. That didn't turn the line off. And then the inside part of the brim, we'll go ahead and use the same radial fill. And I'm going to turn them the same color and turn off the outline. Okay, so now our hat is filled in with rhinestones. So now you have a totally different rhinestone template than you started with, which was what our main objective was for this class today. Now there are other things that you can do with this, right? Like I said before, let's say, for instance, maybe you want to do glitter, right? You want to make her hat glitter. All you have to do is just turn the rhinestone portion of it off, right? And just have your solid pieces and now you can make those pieces glitter. Okay, or you can make them vinyl, or you can do whatever you want with them, right? You just now have something else to work with when you're working
wait.
with this particular template.
Did you turn the rhinestones off? I was writing. Sorry. I'm a process person, so I'm writing some steps
That's fine.
because I'm
But
gonna
tell
go
me what,
back and try to do it and then be like, what did she say? So
did you have a question? Did you ask me a question?
So I saw you said if we wanted to use glitter. So for instance, I see people ask me, okay, you're doing me an HTV shirt, can you throw some bling on it? What you just said, where you said if you wanted to do glitter, then I would want definitely want to incorporate both at one point. So how did you turn back off the rhinestone so that you only could use glitter right there?
Right here, because remember when we created this piece, right, we just took the offset from around the original template and it gave us this interior piece. So once it gave us this interior piece, all I did was just turn it to a color so we could see it.
Okay.
And then you could just group all of those pieces together. So I could click on this part, hold my shift key, click on the inside part of the hat here, and then click on the brim. Now that I have all three of those pieces selected, I can right click and group. Now all of those three pieces are connected, and this could be a piece that you could send to your cutter and cut in vinyl or glitter.
Clip group. Okay.
right? So then you would press your shirt
Mine
and then
didn't
you would,
turn away from it, grouped it, but it didn't move, it didn't change it from rhinestone.
well, that's because you didn't turn the rhinestone panel off. I just turned the rhinestone effect off. Like if I click it now and the rhinestone panel is open and I click one of the fill options, let's say I click linear, see it turned it into the rhinestones.
Gotcha.
But if I wanted it to be something that I wanted to use for HTV, I just turn it off. And now I have my pieces.
Understood.
Does that make sense for everybody? So now that we have that, right? So now we have an option where we can do and we can add, like I said, HTV, or glitter. You could even sublimate that portion of it if you wanted, right? You could do anything, because now it's like it's like an SVG that you can use, that you would download from Etsy or and you can manipulate it that way. We can, like I said, it can be rhinestones. Okay. But if we were going to do this in rhinestones, I would want to go in here and I probably would want to clean it up a little bit. I'd want to make the lines a little bit neater, just so that it has a little bit more symmetry to it. But let's do this. So I showed you where I had taken the inside part of her hat, right? And I had chopped out a heart, and I put a heart inside of the hat with the rhinestones. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I did that. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so that I can be working in her hat. And I'm also going to just I'm gonna ungroup that, and I'm going to bring this piece of the hat out here off the mat for a minute, right? So I have my hat over here on the left, right? We have our flexi shape tools. And over here where the star is, and depending on whatever you use last, that's the shape that's kind of going to be in that that box. So it could be anything for you right now. For me, it's a star because I was working on something yesterday and I used the star flexi shape. But if you click on it, it's the one underneath the rectangle. It's the flexi shape tool. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go and I'm going to select a heart. Okay, so I'm going to select the heart. When I select it, you see now it turned to a heart. When I come out onto the mat or the screen, I have like a little pair of crosshairs. You guys see the crosshairs? It's not a cursor, it's crosshairs. I'm going to click and then I'm going to drag and I'm going to drag out the heart. Everybody click and drag out a heart. And then I'm going to take my heart and I'm going to position it where I want it to go on the hat. Okay. And it looks like it could be a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to I'm going to select it and I'm going to hold my shift key because I want it to scale in proportion. So I'm going to click it, hold my shift key and grab a corner and drag. Okay. And I'm just going to drag it out to be about 2 inches big, 2 inches in height, and it's a little bit longer in the width. Okay. So now we have our heart. Okay. But we can't just turn our heart into rhinestones. Okay. And then put them on top of the hat. That's not going to work. Right. Because we won't be able to see those rhinestones. So what we have to do is we have to slice out or knock out, or whatever you want to call it, our heart from this back portion. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to keep my heart probably about this size. Or maybe I might make it a little bit smaller. I might make it a little bit smaller because I want to make sure that I have enough space for the stones in the hat to fit. So I'm going to scale it back down. So right now my heart is 1.938 in height and 2.106 inches in width. Okay. And while it's selected, I'm going to go to the offset panel and I'm going to click on offset. And I'm going to make my offset the same as it was before, 0.135. And why is because I want my heart to be in line with my stones when I turn this back portion of the hat into rhinestones as well. I want it to meet right there at the same place. So while I'm still selected on the offset, right? The offset is still selected. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to click that blue part, which is the hat, the inside part of the hat. I'm going to click that. So now I have a box around that blue section and I got a box around the offset that was created. And I'm going to go over here on the right, and this icon that has the rectangle and the circle, okay, that is your modify panel. I want you to click on it, okay, and when you click on it, you get some options. You get weld, subtract, divide, intersect, crop, and make some other things. What we're focusing on right now is we want to click subtract all. Okay, we click subtract all, and that's going to subtract that offset that we created from the back part of the design. So I'm going to click it. Everybody see what happens? The offset that we created got subtracted from the back part of the design, but it still left the original heart that we drew out, and that's what we wanted. Okay, so now if I click anywhere on the screen to deselect those two items, I can now click the hat or I can click the heart. Okay, so if I click the heart and I open up the rhinestone panel and I turn on one of my effects, and I'm going to use the radial, it's going to fill in that heart with rhinestones. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and color them so you guys can see. I'm just going to color them red. Okay, and if I click the back portion of the hat, that insert piece, and I go back to the rhinestone panel and I turn on the radial fill, you see how our heart now fills in that space. We have that, they have that little red line there, and that's just from when we created the offset. And it can be a little difficult to kind of grab, but I got it. And I'm just going to take that out. And I can draw a box around all of it and just group it together. Right click group, and then bring it back into my design. Did everybody get that? If anybody has question, go ahead and just let me know, and
Mine
I'll
does
go back.
not look like that.
Well, it didn't look
I
like
got
it.
lost in translation
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what went wrong, but there is a heart. It is subtracted. It
Okay.
is the line that I'm seeing is not cannot be moved. It moves the entire heart. Yeah, even
Okay.
though
But
couldn't
you
even tell
got
you
you.
where it went wrong.
That's okay. You got 50% of the way there, and that's better than not having anything that at all. So we can work with that. How about anybody else? Anybody else not get their heart the way I have mine?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just following along, but I'm way behind because mine is not it's not working. So
That's all right. That's okay. We'll come back to you. We're good. But so I'm gonna take silence to mean that everybody is still on the same. We're all together. Um, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna show you something else that you can do. It's the same thing. It's the same steps. Okay. It's just we're gonna, instead of doing a shape, we're gonna do some text. So I'm gonna just move my hat out the way and just get rid of this heart. Okay. And one of the other things that I did was I did the 1865, right? Because I said, okay, well, Black History Month is coming up. Maybe I want to make this design and I want to put her ball cap to be the red, green, yellow colors, and make her hat say 1865. So you do that the same exact way, right? You would come out, grab your text tool this time instead of a flexi shape tool. You go over here to the left. The A is your text tool. You click on it, you click it, and you just bring your cursor to anywhere on the screen. Click, and you'll get this flashing cursor, and you can start typing. So I'm going to type out 1865. Okay, and it just gives you the default generic font in Silhouette. I'm going to click off of it, and then I'm going to select it and get a box around it, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it into a color. I'm going to just make it white. Okay, and excuse me, I'm just going to drag it up to that part of the hat so that I can start spacing it, sizing it. I'm just going to size it up a little bit because I don't necessarily know that I like this font. Okay. Now, fonts are something that are always going to be hit or miss on your computer, right? Because your system fonts on your computer are not necessarily digitized for rhinestones. So sometimes when you use them, they don't always do what you want them to do, or you can't make them look like you want them to. And that's just normal. Yes, Mia.
I'm not sure if we can do this, but I want to know, what if we like what we've created and we want to save it as an option? Is there a way to create another offset in that area and then do like the 1865?
Sure can. All you got to do is just duplicate that interior piece as many times as you want.
What do you mean?
And
So,
what I suggest, and this is what I have done, and anybody, like I said, if you follow me or you've seen any of my designs, I have an Afro girl, the other Afro girl that's very popular. Everybody, sees with the baseball cap on. I did the same thing with that design, and I made umpteen different versions. I did a Cowboys. I did not all of the football teams, but I get a good number of the football teams. I put peace in there. I put the awareness ribbon for breast cancer. I did that, and I did it the same way. I just kept making multiple parts of that inside cap. And then the only thing I had to do was just do that part because the rest of the design was already done. So yes, Mia, you can do that, and you can do that. I always keep an extra one off to the side somewhere so that I don't have to go back and recreate the offset over and over and over again because I already have it.
so I should duplicate the offset, not the, I got rid of my offset, but
Right,
okay.
but now that you don't need the offset anymore because you have your internal pieces. So you
Mhm.
can just make copies of that internal piece that you want to use again.
Oh, got it. So I can, okay.
Right? So I can just duplicate this. I can
Yeah.
duplicate it and turn it different colors. And you want to do something like we had someone who said they did Delta, right? So let's say maybe she want to make a Delta hat. All she's got to do is turn that piece red or turn whatever pieces of it red and do her red and white. But then maybe she wants to do something else with that. You want to do something, and you can just reuse this same piece. And as long as you keep as long as you keep an extra one, you don't ever have to worry about if you've already released the rhinestones on the other one. You don't have to go through all of those steps again because you've already done it.
Makes
I want
sense.
to say something. Um, so Tanya knows I have taken several rhinestone classes and I was like a deer in a headlight. Like, what? What are we doing? So if anybody has not taken Tanya's beginner or intermediate basics class for silhouette, you definitely want to do that because I am surprised that I was able to follow along today, because it helps so much. And I'm not saying this because I'm just sitting, I even just sent her a message and was like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised I was able to actually follow along. But it's just because I've taken her other class. So if you have not taken her beginners or 101 class or anything like that, I am a living testament. You're going to want to do that because it's gonna make a world of difference. I promise you. Especially if this is your first time using your silhouette, you definitely want to do that. It's It's definitely worth it.
Is it a beginner's rhinestone class or
Man,
is it just in general?
no, let me tell you something. Tanya is very thorough. She takes the time. I remember when I did my beginners class with her, I think we was on that thing, Tanya, I
Hours?
maybe about 5 hours. Yes. When I tell you, because the things that she's telling you, you're going to hear it over and over and over again. And that reinforcement and doing it while she does it. Right now, you might be like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. I promise you, when I did her class, I had to take the class and take the recording and try it again. But it's going to come, but you have to start with the basics first because everybody teaches differently, and those basics are going to give you the foundation that you need so that the rest of this stuff is going to make sense. So again, it's not it's a mix of a basic rhinestone class because you're teaching rhinestones, but it's based on the Silhouette Studio Business Edition, and it's just going to make everything make sense. And you're going to be able to realize because a lot of this stuff you use with Cricut, you use with whatever system it is, it's just a different system because you're going to see group, ungroup, offset. You can see this stuff over and
Okay.
over and over again. And the more you dive in, and I'm only saying this because I was sick. Tanya will tell you, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I was so clueless just a few months ago. But keep taking the
Okay.
classes. Take Tanya's class wherever you feel like you are missing. She has a class, a course, or something that can help fill in those gaps. I promise you, she'll get you where you need to be. Tanya, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you.
Tanya, do you have, that was good advice. Um, This is the
Thank
only part of the silhouette I don't use. So I'm wondering if you have a rhinestone beginners class. I've learned a lot today already. But as far as the grouping and all that, I definitely, um, I would say I have that down pat because that's what I use in my business all the time for
right.
HTV and stuff like that. So I wouldn't want to, I know I would come and I probably, and I would encourage everybody to take a class. Because of course I did it the hard way back in 2019 and learned it on my own, frustrated, wasted HTV, so much vinyl. Oh my gosh, I wasted so much vinyl. Now I'm good with that, but this rhinestone part scares me. I just leave that little part alone. Um, That and even the Pix, I use the Pix one that much where where you scan and you do all that. But yeah, do you have a beginner's rhinestone one where for
When
even
when
me
were
as
you
what you just said made so much sense to understand silhouette itself. It's a whole process. So I love that you said that about Tanya. I'm
Absolutely.
definitely gonna tell the people that use Cricut because all the Cricut users that want to know both. I always tell them I can teach you it, no problem. And I've done some classes, but I'm gonna encourage them to come because I don't have a class with that. I'm gonna encourage them to come to yours, Tanya. So please give us the info. I want everybody because Mia just I'm all about supporting each other and pulling each other up together. So I love it.
Yes.
When I
And I
tell
love my
you,
silhouette. I'm no Cricut user. Let me tell you, I bought a Cricut and I returned it in 5 days. And that was before I bought the silhouette. I know I probably should have, I didn't have the patience, but silhouette was so much easier for me to learn. I don't know what happened. I was like, I did it. But that Cricut, y'all got me with that. I carried it back in 2019. Ain't never seen one since.
yeah, I don't know what her price is for her class now. I took my class probably in the summer, but I promise you, it's well worth 10 times that amount because it's absolutely priceless. Tanya gives you more bang for your buck. She's going to tell you everything. You have questions. You can see right now, like she's teaching, but I promise you, it's just stick with it and stay in the group, ask your questions, come to these kind of classes, and you're going to be able to do these in no time. I promise you, and make that money over 100 times all over again.
For me, I have to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that so very much. Like I said, I remember what it was like to start. And like Elizabeth said, it's just like, like you're fishing, you're like what, a deer in the headlights. Like, well, what do I do? And or, I'm clicking in it and it's not doing that, or, and you get so frustrated. And when the frustration sets in, you toss it all up and then you don't do it again. But, the thing that I learned is that once you learn, and the thing about silhouette, now I could tell you earlier at the very beginning, I'm not an expert in silhouette. I don't know every single tool that is available in silhouette. I know what I need to use in order to create rhinestone templates. So if your goal is to be able to create rhinestone templates, I can show you what tools you will use over and over and over again in order to create rhinestone templates. The process doesn't change. You still go through the same steps. You may have to do other manipulations once you implement those steps, depending on the intricacy of the design that you're trying to create. But I guarantee you, every design, if you go out to my Etsy shop, okay, every design that I currently have on my Etsy shop, anything that you may see me post online, everything I have done was created in Silhouette using the same basic steps that I'm teaching you today. Okay, so if you practice what I'm teaching you, start out with simple designs, learn where your tools are, understand what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then figure out what tool you need to use in order to do that. Once that intuitive part clicks, everything else becomes automatic. And then it's just the manual labor that is then necessary to get that design where you want it to be. I promise you. You can do this.
Yeah, so I may have the weirdest request, but so I think playing around with it is perfect. I don't know how everybody else feel on here, but I'm slow with even trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to buy? I thought I bought the things because I've looked it up, and then you get scared and it sits there. Bought the things, the rhinestones. I bought the what is it? That blue paper. I can't even remember the sticky thing. See, I don't
Oh,
even know the
the
names.
flock
The
The
material.
flock.
flock, the flock, all that. And then I need to see somebody brush them in. I need to see, okay, really, how does this really work? Did this work? I
I,
got the brush, I got all the stuff. I
I
just
just
don't do
posted a
it.
video on that yesterday.
I'm gonna go watch your YouTube video, absolutely. But that's I want to be able to say, watch Tanya. I went to her class and this took me from here to there. Because when I'm telling y'all, I'm doing it afraid. It's so easy. I can flip some HTV to like right now. I layered 10 layers and sell that shirt real quick today, make some money. But this part makes me scared.
Yeah,
And
I
so
want to
I'm
take
doing it
your class
afraid.
too.
Oh,
Exactly.
let's do it. Let's do it. We can go in and
Absolutely.
exchange these services. That's perfect. Because
Well,
all of us gotta
Absolutely.
eat.
I
All of
would
us
love
gotta
for you
eat.
to come join my Rhinestone Syndicate group, right? Because we're bold ideas in this group. It's not just about rhinestones. That's just one portion of it. But I would love to have anybody that has an expertise in something that they're passionate about, that they're willing to share that information and teach others how to do it, to be a part of this collective this community that I'm trying to build, where we help each other build and grow. Right. And
Certainly.
maybe you can use
There.
it as a platform to, like I say, again, make some passive income. I'm okay with that too. Right. Because at the end of the day, if you need to know something, not all information is available for free. Sometimes you have to pay for things. And I'm willing to
Absolutely.
pay for the things that are going to hopefully return a dividend to me.
Absolutely. I just let y'all know my next thing is embroidery. My machine should be here in about 2 weeks.
Well,
I don't know.
I
The
do
storm.
embroidery as well,
Yeah, the storm might hold
and
me up.
so,
So that's
Okay.
so
Let me
anyway, we're
let
going to get back to class. Yes.
okay, let me get in and then we get back to class.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
be
sorry I'm
about that.
late. I'm sorry I'm late. But
Oh, don't be. Who we
my
got here? Oh, hey,
expertise,
Brenda.
hi, my expertise, I'm a real estate broker with real estate agents, but overall, I'm an entrepreneur. So I have done everything in life. I'm 63 years old. I have done everything in life that I wanted to do. So I come up again. I used to dabble into personalized baskets, just different things like that. But now, for some reason, I want to open a business only because I was getting ready to order my real estate signs to put in the yards, for real estate. And I said, these people are charging too much for these signs. I'm going to make these signs and sell them to all my real estate people, all globally, cheaper than they are selling them out here on the internet. So it started as simple as that. Then when I started looking up equipment, I started seeing DTF, and then I saw Tanya with these bling blings, and I said, I got to add this to it too. So I've been reading, researching. I love to read and research. I'm gonna go back and look at all the videos, but when I saw her, she was giving all this good information. I'm like, ooh, where her subscription part at? Let me go in here. I get to it, ain't even no money on it. So I said, okay, let me go over to her Etsy and buy what she got on that. Just your heart to go out and try to help people instead of back up off of it. I admire that because I'm a giver as well, and it's hard for me to receive. But I'm just so happy that I found your group, and these ladies are passionate about what they're doing. So y'all gonna see me pop up, and I'm sure I bought the wrong flock because I bought something that says for stencils, and it's harder probably, but I get everything together and we gonna work it out. And then I'm gonna be coming on here trying to show y'all what I done made.
What we like
That's
to
it.
hear. That's what we like.
That's
You
it.
guys really, like I said, right now I'm over here. I'm trying to hold back the tears. Because like I said, I do what I do and I do it from the heart. I don't, when Brenda reached out to, she said, well, like, and she did. She said last night in the chat, she's like, "Where's your subscription? How I pay you?" And I'm like, "Oh, we'll talk about that later." Because, you know, I recently, well, it's not recent. I mean, I'll be honest and frank with you ladies, right? I mean, I had a full-time job. I'm a 25-year plus professional in the legal arena. And, I lost my job back in March of last year, and I have been unemployed since then. Um, and it's been a struggle, right? Like, I never thought in a million years that someone like me with the experience that I have would be out of work for as long as I have, right? You go out, you look for jobs, they say they want somebody with experience, 5+ years. I'm like, okay, I raised my hand, here I am. And no phone calls, no follow-ups, or if you do get an interview, thank you, appreciate you, we'll follow back up with you, and then you get crickets. And so, you know, it's been scary the last 9 months, right? And I'm looking at, we're coming into, it's getting ready to be the end of January, it's going to be February, and then it's going to be March. And all of a sudden the realization kind of kicked into me. It's like, Tanya, you're going to have been unemployed for over a year, right? Like a year. You got, what are you going to, what are you going to do? What happens if this doesn't turn around, that you don't get a job? And God has put so many people in my path, and I'm sorry to kind of veer off right this moment, but I just want to kind of, give you guys a sense of who I am. And so, God has put so many wonderful people in my life for over the past year and a half, I would say. Like, people have been coming, I have been meeting different people. And I think I've come to the realization that we may not always like the way that things pan out, right? But God got a purpose, and there's a reason for everything that happens to us. Um, and sometimes he's got to do things ugly in order to get us to move, right? Because if he kept it simple, we're creatures of habit. We will continue to keep doing the same thing that we've always done because that's what's comfortable for us. And I believe that he took me from the job that I had that was comfortable and put me in a place that made me uncomfortable so that he could show me that the talents that he had already given to me, I was already sitting on a job. I was already sitting on the thing that made me passionate, that made me want to go out and hustle and help and do. And he said, if you do this, I will provide for you. And so here we are, like I said, almost 10 months later, and I still got a roof over my head. There's food in my refrigerator. My bills are paid. Am I at the same place I was when I was working? No. But have all my needs been provided for? Hallelujah. Amen. Yes. And so I just believe that if I continue to keep on the path that he has put me on, and I continue to do the things that embody who I am, I don't have to worry, right? Whether I start a subscription-based business, whether people take classes with me and do a one-on-one, or whether I continue to keep providing information free of charge, whatever it is, he's got me. I just have to stay on the path and do what he tells me to do. So it wasn't in my spirit to start a subscription because there may be people out there who are just like me and they're struggling. And as much as they want that information, they can't commit to $25 a month or $50 a month to be able to get it. But they might be able to come on and catch this. They might be able to say, well, I got $10. I'll just send her $10, because whatever she imparted upon me is going to help me. And if they do that, I benefit as well. So, like I said, I'm still on the fence. I don't know. People keep telling me that's what I need to do, but I keep listening to the Lord, and he's told me that that's not the route he wants me to go just yet. So until that changes, I'm gonna just keep doing what I've been doing. But I
Okay.
appreciate it. I certainly do. I appreciate every single one of y'all that are on here with me today, because y'all being here just gives me the encouragement to do what I already know I know how to do. But I just need to do it. And Mia has helped me to turn 2026 into the year of being intentional. And I've taken what she has taught me or talked to me about over the past several months, and I am moving forward with being very intentional about how I do things this year. So I hope you guys will continue to stick with me. I hope that I can help you, on your journey with rhinestones. If you feel the need to get more personalized instructions, you can reach out to me. I'm cheap compared to some folk. I charge $60 for a minimum of 2 hours, but I was on a class last night and we were on for 4 hours. Did I charge her any more than that? No.
Put me down.
So,
Just sign me up.
I
so
done
again,
said sign me up like 10 times already.
so anyway, I will share all of that information with you guys, like I said,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. And if anybody, when we finish this particular class, wants to stay on and we revisit, I'm happy to do that. Okay. So
Okay.
I'll get back to this so that those who have other things they want to spend their Saturday on can, because we're almost done. But then, like I said, I'm willing to stay on with anyone who is willing to stay on, and we'll keep talking about some things. We'll keep working through it. So now that I wanted to take this design and I wanted to do the text, and I want to do 1865. I've already got it typed out. I've kind of sized it a little bit. I'm not quite happy with this particular font, but let's just see what it looks like, right? We can click on it, come back over here to our font, or excuse me, we click this A, which is the textile panel, to open up whatever system fonts you have on your computer. Now, they're going to be different than mine's are going to be different than what you have, because it opens up the fonts that you have on your system. Okay. All fonts in your system are not going to convert into rhinestones well. And the reason that is because, remember, your rhinestone is a circle, excuse me. That circle size is fixed. You cannot change it. Whatever you're working on, that hole has to fit within the parameters of your design, right? So if you have something that's very thin and you try to put an SS10 rhinestone, it's not going to fit. So the system can't add it. So we want to try to choose fonts. If we're using our system fonts, we want to try to choose fonts that are thicker to give the system more room to add those circles. So a lot of times what I like to do is I will just scroll down the list of fonts that are in my system and see if there's anything in here that works, right? So right now we have the default text font that Silhouette uses. And I'm just going to go into the rhinestone panel and I'm going to turn on the linear fill feature, right? Because the linear fill is the one that's going to kind of give me, the 2 lines, 3 lines, whatever, up and down. And I can kind of see what that font's going to look like. So I'm going to turn that on. So that's the 1865. That's what it looks like in Rhinestones SS10 with a spacing of 0 to 0. That's what it looks like. Is that legible? No. If we scale it out, the bigger we make it, the better it's going to look, right? And the reason it's going to look better is because we've made it bigger. But if we make it smaller, those stones have nowhere to go, right? So that's why it's doing that. That's why it looks the way that it does. So this particular font is not the best for what I want to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of scroll. And how I do that is I just kind of, I go in here and I just click on a font. This is Arial. And if I use my down arrow, I can just down arrow through the fonts in my system and see which one of these might be what will work. So I'm just going to keep scrolling. That one would be okay. I might have to make some edits to it. But that could work. And if you find something that works, right? One of the things I would suggest that you do is write it down. Right? Write it down somewhere. Whenever you find one of your system fonts that you think you can work with rhinestones, that way you can build a list of things that you know work so that you don't have to spend the time trying to find something that works. Okay. But I'm just going to keep scrolling and see. And sometimes, okay, so I'm looking at this, I'm going, maybe the linear fill is not the fill pattern that I want. Let me go back. And let me see if I select the edge fill and scroll through my fonts if I find something that looks like it might work, right? So I just kind of keep scrolling. I don't see anything just yet. And of course, I told you guys to write down, and I didn't do that with the one that I did the other day. So maybe it was something like this. It was something like that one. Let's see, make this a little smaller. Now, the other thing you could do is you say, okay, well, these are 10s. This is SS10s. Well, how would it look if I did 6s, right? Maybe I can use 6s in my design. So I'll come back here to the rhinestone panel and choose 6s. Now, 6s look a lot better, right? And the reason 6s look better are because 6s are smaller, right? So the smaller the rhinestone, the more space it has in order to fit it. So not to belabor, this class, because I think you get the concept. I'm just going to use this particular font in SS6s to show you what it is I'm trying to do. So we have our 1865. I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn the rhinestone effect off so that I just have the font showing, right? So there's the font. Now, earlier when I showed you with the heart, I just left the heart just kind of like centered in the hat. Okay, but maybe you look at this hat and you say, well, the hat kind of is skewed a little bit, right? And maybe the text needs to be skewed a little bit to fall in line with the hat. So you have your rotate tool here, right? This is that green circle. When you select, you hit this green circle, and if you click on it, it lets you rotate that design on its axis, okay? But I don't know that I necessarily want it rotated, right? I kind of want to skew it, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. I want to skew it a little bit. So there's a tool in Silhouette that would allow you to do that, right? And that tool is under your transform panel. And the transform panel is the one that has the line here in the middle with the ones that go up and down. And it's where you'll find your horizontal, align left, center, align right, top, bottom, and your equal spacing tools, okay? But if you look at the top, you have some other icons here, and we won't go into all of them, but the one that I wanted to show you is this one on the very end, and it's the shear tool, okay? So if we click on the shear tool, it's going to open up and it's going to allow us to shear this design and either horizontally or vertical. Okay, so it's already selected. If I click on this slide bar right here, okay, well, if we click on these here, these tell us that if we click on this one, it's going to shear this design 30 degrees to the left. Okay, if we click on the one over here, on the other end, it's going to shear it 30 degrees to the right. So let's see what happens when I click it. When I click the 30 degrees to the right, see what the design does? Okay, if I take it back to 0, it'll go ahead and straighten it back up. If I click it 15 degrees to the left, it skews it like that. Or I can click 30 degrees and it'll skew it that way. Okay. Or you can use the slide rule down here and you can customize it to whatever percentage you want it. So you could slide it and you could just keep on sliding it to whatever you like, right? But that's when you use the horizontal. Okay. I'm going to make it back and make this say 0. Okay. And vertical just kind of takes you in the opposite. Okay. So that will skew it this way, or you can skew it that way. Okay. So I think when I did my 1865, I used the vertical shear and I think I turned my design this way. Okay. So I just kind of slightly skewed it like that. So let's go ahead and just bring this design a little back over into our rhinestone template, just so that we can get a visual for what that would look like. Okay. So I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit so you guys could see it. You guys, can you see that? So that's where I use the I use the shear tool to kind of shift that design from being straight to having it come out kind of like as an angle to kind of match the angle in the hat. But again, if I wanted to slice this out of this portion of the design, we do exactly the same thing we did before. We click on our text, okay? We open up our offset. Okay, I'm going to click on the offset. It gave us the same one we used the last time, which was the 0.135, which is the spacing that will give us that equal spacing between our SS10 rhinestone. But these are 6s, right? We said 6s look better when we first had this on. So if I want to do 6s, I need to bring this down to maybe 0.103 or 2. Okay, because I believe that's the default for SS6. So I'm going to bring that down to that distance of space, and it's still selected, right? Everything appears to be touching, except, let me zoom this in a little bit. Actually, it's not. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of that. And it's probably because I want to, so I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click the offset. And ideally what I would like is I would like all of it to be touching, right? So that when I create the offset, it's all one piece. But because the 1 is further away from the 8, in order for me to do that, I would have to make the offset even larger. So I don't necessarily want to do that right now, but what you would do is you would just, you could ungroup the numbers so that they all become their own individual object. And then I could go in here and I could move, let me deselect that and just click on the 1 and move that over, right, a little closer, so that the next time I go in and do the offset, so now I have, because I've ungrouped everything, I have to select each one individually. So I'm just going to hold my shift key and I'm going to click on the 8, the 6, and the 5. And then I'm going to click offset again, and I see if we can get it to touch. Okay, so now everything is touching, right? The 8 is touching the 1, the 6 is touching the 8, the 5 is touching the 6. We can go ahead and right click Okay, I'm gonna right click while my offset is selected, and I'm going to click, oh shoot. Well, actually, it's still selected. I'm going to go over here to the modify panel. Again, that is the one with the rectangle and the circle. We're going to click on that. And what we want to do is we want to subtract the offset that we created from that blue portion of the design. I'm going to click subtract. And of course, I came off of it, so it didn't do it. Hold on. You can go back. You can go back a minute. I'm going to do my offset again. Okay, I have my offset. I'm going to open up that transform panel, and I'm going to click subtract. No, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to click the blue. I forgot to click the blue area. So while that's selected, I'm going to hold shift, click the blue area. So now I have a box around the blue. I have a box around the offset. And now when I click subtract, the offset has now subtracted from the back of the blue. Okay. And what we have left is the text that we created, the 1865, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and select each of those so that you can see it, give it a color. And then I'm going to scroll out so that you can see that, right? So now if we click on our text, go back to the rhinestone panel, we said we were going to use SS6s. I'm going to turn on the, was it linear? No. We just turned this effect on right now, which is the radial. It doesn't look that great because, again, this is not the best font. And I can't remember what I did the other day. I didn't write it down. But now we have that turned into rhinestones. And we can go back in here, click our hat, insert, and turn it back into rhinestones. And if this background was a different color so that you could see it, let's see. Let me turn these a different color. I'm gonna turn them white. They'll show up a little bit better. You now see how your 1865 has been is inside your other portion of the rhinestone for your hat, right? And earlier, Brenda, we had talked about how we created these pieces that weren't part of the original template, right? We created these pieces so that we could turn them into rhinestones, or we could use them to do glitter or vinyl or whatever to add different elements to that template that we bought that didn't have it to begin with. Okay, so I'm gonna let's do this because I like to sometimes work from a black background. So I'm gonna turn this. I'm just gonna turn her hair like brown for a minute, and then I'm gonna turn my page, my background on my page. I go to my page setup icon here at the top, and down here at the very bottom. This will allow me to turn my background to a different color. So I'm just going to turn it black. And I like to work from a black screen because it just makes the contrast from looking at the stones. I can kind of see what I'm doing. But that's what it looks like now. Okay. Her earrings were gold. Where did her earrings go? Well, I won't worry about that right now. But anyway, let me zoom out. Uh-oh, no, that's the wrong zoom. But you guys see that? So now we had the original, what we had, oops, let me get rid of this. And let me just move this, group this together for a minute. Just move that out the way. So what we started with, right, before all we had was this, okay? Let's see if I can bring her earrings and stuff back. Oh, I know what I did. I turned the whole thing brown. Okay, because it was all grouped together. Let me go back. Let's go back a minute. Bear with me just a second. Okay, take that there. And okay, so I'm gonna make my background black. I'm gonna click on her hair and turn it brown so you can see it. Oh, wait a minute. Something is still grouped together. Okay, here we go. All right, so there was our original design, right? It was our original design without these pieces. And then I'll get all this and move that. That was our original design. And what we created was something entirely different, right? We went in and we added different elements to it to add more bling because we love the bling, and the more bling, the better. So we created this, we did that. Now, this still requires, in my opinion, some people might say, you know what, hey, this is great for me. I'm done. I'm one of those people, I like to, clean it up a little bit more. So I would go in here and I would play around with the spacing after I release the rhinestones. And that's probably, if you want to stay on, I'll show you how you do that. But, and then this was the other piece that we had. Let me go ahead and group that back. And let me I'm going to turn off this outline real quick.
Tanya, question
Yes, ma'am.
for clarity. When you say release the rhinestones, that would make the silhouette machine cut the holes, or I know it's technical words you're using, but I just want to bring it down to me understanding. What does she mean release the rhinestones?
Right. So basically, like I said, this right now, all we have is an effect turned on, right? We just have, so this piece right here that I have selected, right? This interior part of her brim is still like this, right? It's still this piece right here that's just colored in. When I say release the rhinestones, that means that once we've turned on the rhinestone effect, it releases all of these little holes, and it turns each of those into an object that you can then manipulate. And then when you go to send it to your printer, and I'll show you what happens if you don't do it, this is what's going to happen. So right now, let's say, oh, I'm all done. I'm ready to send this design to my printer to cut. If you were using a silhouette, you would come over here, you go to send, and it would open up the, silhouette is different because the holes are here. It's going to cut the holes because that's what it sees. But technically, if we were in the design state, this is really not, releasing the rhinestones just means that you can then go in and make edits. Because right now, even though you see the circles and the machine will cut this as circles, you can't make any edits to it, right? It's just one piece, right? You click on it and nothing, it's just that one thing. You can't click on any one of these individual circles. Let's say I wanted to add a circle, like there's a space right here. And I say, oh, I don't really like that. I think I want to see if I can fit a rhinestone in there. Well, you can't fit a rhinestone in there because technically the design is still a solid piece. You have to release the rhinestones and make them all their individuals. Same as kind of the same concept as release the compound pad, right? We want to release these circles so that they all become their individual circles. So if I do that, like I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to
I
make them
understand.
10s,
Mhm.
right?
That made sense because sometimes you see rhinestones that are so far apart when on a shirt, and you're like, why is that?
Mhm.
I may not have known how to fix it, but I do that one right. I was like, that's too far.
Exactly. It's sometimes people get lazy, or sometimes people they don't know, right? They think that the machine did what it was supposed to do, and that's just the way it's supposed to look. And so I guess I'm done with it, and boom, I'm done. And that's how you can sometimes tell an experienced designer from somebody who's inexperienced. And I will say that in 3 years, when I go back and I look at some of my earlier templates, I'd be like, Tanya, you should be ashamed of yourself that you actually tried to sell that to somebody, because there's so much that I could have done that would have made that design look so much more professional. But when I was looking at it, I thought it looked good. But now that I know more, I do better. So, like, let's say, for instance, you say, okay, I'm looking at this. I think we can fix this up already. We got too much space in here, right? We could leave that and somebody would probably be okay with it. I mean, when we look at it, it's not going to really, but we could make this look a little bit better. Could we fit a stone over in here? Yeah, we probably could add a stone in there. So I'm going to show you how you do that. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see that area that I'm working on, right? And I'm going to go in here and I'm okay with my spacing, or am I, or not? Let's see if I change the spacing a little bit, if I can get those stones to be a little bit tighter so that my cleanup is minimal. So right now we're at a spacing of 0.020. Now I start at this spacing because it's a safe spacing for when you're cutting your flock, right? Whether you're cutting it on a Cricut, whether you're using your Cameo or Graph Tech or any others, Juliet, Romeo, whatever cutting machine you have, that 0.20 spacing is going to give you enough spacing so that when you go to pull your flock off of the mat, you should have enough space where it doesn't tear. Okay. When you start decreasing that space, it's going to the cutting machine is going to have to be very precise when it cuts, because it's going to be only leaving a very little bit of material in between those holes. And when you go to pull, you could potentially tear it. Okay. A tear doesn't always necessarily mean that you've ruined it. It just depends on how bad the tears are. So, like I said, I start at 20, and then I work my way down. Now, 15 is like the furthest that I will go if I'm cutting. I have a CAMS machine, which is a rhinestone setting machine. With my rhinestone setting machine, I can probably go down as close as 5, right? I can get those stones to be like almost right on top of each other. And the closer those stones are, the more density there is, the more bling you're going to see. But you just can't get that same level of density when you're cutting with a cutting machine. So you have to leave some space. So let's just see what 15 looks like. So we can highlight that and just change that 2 numbers on the end to 15 and hit enter. And okay, so see, when I did that, that filled in that space just a little bit more. And the system is only going to fill in spaces where it has room to do so. So it didn't give us anything over here because it says there's not enough space between here and the spacing that we identified. But I know, looking at it, that I can make some shifts and squeeze some stones in there and fill that in even more. So now that I've got it down to the 15, and as you can see, it's kind of tight, but it's doable. I'm going to go ahead and release these rhinestones. Okay. And when I release the rhinestones, it's harder to see it with the black background, but if I just go ahead and turn my background back to white, you'll see that there is a box now around each and every one of those circles that I released. So that means that I can click on any one of these circles and I can move them, or I can delete them if I wanted to. Okay. But I don't want to delete anything, but I do want to see if I can add. So right here in this space, I want to kind of fill that in a little bit. So I can click on this rhinestone here and use my arrow keys and just kind of shift it so that it kind of stays on its axis. And then I could shift this one over, right? And now I can add a few extra stones in here. And there's 2 ways you can do this. You can right click and click duplicate, okay? And it will put a stone out there, and then you can use your arrow keys to where you want it to go, okay? Or if you click on it, which is already highlighted, and you hold down the Alt key on your keyboard, the ALT, when you hold it, you see how right now I have the hand with the finger, right? That looks like this. When you click on it, it turns it into the Alt. You see how now it's a plus with a crosshair, right? When it does that, you can hold with your mouse and just drag out that circle. So it already created the duplicate, but it sat it right on top of the other stone, so you couldn't see it. So as long as your cursor is kind of like that, you can just keep clicking and dragging out stones. See, I just keep clicking and dragging stones. You can make multiples of them if you want it. But that's just a second way for you to add a stone to your to your mat. So I'm going to kind of move that one out the way, and I'm just going to manually, while trying to keep these on the line as best I can, I'm going to shift this one up a little, and I can fit that one in there like that. And then I can come in here and I can move that. And do I have any others? And I can add another one here, and I might be able to add one more right there. Okay, so now we've filled in that area a little bit more than what we had previously. Let me go and zoom out so you can see. Okay, so I'm looking at it and I'm going, I think I can clean it up a little bit more, so I can zoom back in. And let's look at this other area. So over in here, right, we can add another stone over here. So I'm just going to hold my Alt key and drag out a stone and put that one right there. And I think let's see if can we get one in here? Yeah, we can get one in there, right? Because we can kind of shift that a little bit, and then we can move this a little bit, and then we can probably get one more in there and move that out of the way. Just to give the stone a little bit more space, so that when we cut, we have enough in between space. Okay, so that's how you can go in and you can tighten up the design to add more stones to it, so that it doesn't have all of that extra spacing in the design. Now, there's another way you can also use your alignment tool. Okay, let's say we had this open space here like this, and we're like, oh, this is too much space. I don't like how this looks. Can we get these stones to be a little bit closer and close in this gap area right in here? And the way you can do that is in your transform panel, right? The one where you do your alignments. Okay, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th icon down from the top over here on the right. You open that up. Down here at the bottom, you see it says distribute. Okay, and you have your horizontal and your vertical. Okay, they're grayed out right now because we don't have anything selected. Right? There's nothing for them to, and this is also called like your equal spacing kind of tool. They're grayed out because we have nothing selected. But if we go in here and we click, and when you want to create equal space between the rhinestones, you want to select the stones that are on the very farthest edge of the stones that you're trying to equal space. So I want to go from this edge because I want to keep this line here, right? I want to try to keep this line as much as possible, but I want to fill this in. So I'm going to click this stone right here at the top, and I'm going to hold my shift key, and I'm going to try to follow the line. So I'm going to click this one, and while holding shift, I'm going to click this one, the one below it, this one, that one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And now that all of those stones in the line are selected, you see how the distribute now is not grayed out anymore, right? So the one here, this one, it says is space horizontal. Well, I don't want them to go this way. I want them to go vertical. So we want to click this one, which is space vertical. And when we click on that, it's going to shift those stones. You see how it shifted those stones? And it closed up that gap just a little bit. Now, what happens is when we do that, it will take some of these stones off of the path that was originally created, right? So you may lose a little bit of the symmetry in there, but in some instances it may be okay because this was a radial fill pattern to begin with. So it already had some curves and such in it that won't be so obvious when we get it all cleaned up. So if there were others that you want to do, so let's say this area right here where there's the gap. So we do it again. We click on that stone at the top. We hold our shift key. We follow that line. We click those stones, and you want to make sure that you click all of the stones that you want to have equal spaced. And then we click the vertical spacing, and it closed in that. Okay, so you can do that all throughout. So here's another area right in here. Let's do the same thing. Let's try to follow that line and equal space. Okay, and if you do that in all of the areas, it will close in that gap even further. It's a tedious process, but it's one that will set your designs apart from the amateurs, right? The people who don't know how to use their software to make their designs look more professional. So I'm showing you something that there's some people who use it and there are a lot of people who don't. I was one of those people who didn't, but now that I know better, I do better. Okay. The software,
Tanya,
yes.
how do you? So I've been clicking mine and trying to fill it in, and it's like I don't know if I got a fat finger problem. The rhinestones are moving so close to the next one, and I'm trying to keep it just move the way you did it. It just seems smooth, but it just keeps touching the next one, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing with the
Yeah,
mouse?
it's a thing where and you first, one thing you have to remember too is you got to make sure that you select all of the stones in there, because if you miss a stone, like I'll show you what'll happen. Like let's say I want to here's my cursor. Everybody see what my cursor is? And I'm going to try to take this line of stone. Oops, I moved that one. I'm going to take this line of stones right in here, and I'm going to try to just get this gap to be a little bit more to get right. I'm going to try to squeeze in this gap. So I'm going to click so I'm going to start at the top, and it's always easy to see the first one, but it gets harder to see the next ones because when you click on them, now you got a box around it. And sometimes if you're clicking and you miss a stone, so I'm clicking, and I think I got them all, and I hit that vertical spacing. You see what happened? That
Oh
one
yeah, that
stone
happened to
right there
me.
didn't move. It stayed where it was, and that was because it was one that didn't get selected. So you have to go back, okay, and make sure. So you zoom in, get as close to that thing as zoom it in as close as you have to so that you can see it. Okay, and you see right there where all the boxes, but that one didn't get selected. But if I hold the shift key, because the other ones are already selected, if I hold the shift key and click on it, now it's selected. When I do my vertical spacing, they equally space. Okay, if you click the horizontal, right, it's going to take it, it's going to try, because Silhouette is always going to try to put things on a linear path. So sometimes when you do that, like you could click your horizontal and then click your vertical, and it's going to shift them and make them. And it really depends. I should say this too. It depends on the line that you select, right? If I go back, if I go back, and let's say I chose a different path. I say I did this stone. Let's see, I clicked this one, and then I did this one and this one. And then I did, instead of doing this one, I clicked over here and I did this one, right? And then I clicked and I made that the line, and I did it. It's gonna try to keep that line that you're in, but sometimes it's gonna shift. So sometimes it may do it the way you want it, sometimes it may not do it the way you want it, sometimes it may not do what you want at all. But you try it. You see if you can do it that way, because it will save you time from the manual manipulation of having to move all of those stones. But like I can see right here, I can do this one. So I would click this one. I'm going to click this one, and then I'm going to click this. And what line do I like? How do I want it to shift? Do I want it to shift to the left, or do I want it to shift to the right? If I click this one over here, and I do my equal spacing, it shifted those stones like that. If I had gone back and
You know what? I don't.
shift it. Huh?
No, I'm saying, you know what? I thought I was pressing the right thing, but I don't really have an equal space, and I have center. Well, I guess under that a line, I have center, horizontal, vertical, and then under spacing, horizontal and vertical. But I don't have that extra space.
You don't
The
see,
one
you
that
don't,
said distribute. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't know why. I'm all
okay,
over
what if you,
looking for it.
do you have anything selected? But you say
Maybe
you
that.
don't even see
Maybe that.
distribute, you don't see distribute at all.
My menu has a line, and under a line, center, horizontal, and vertical, and then spacing, horizontal, and vertical, and that's it. And that's
Okay.
weird because I have the business edition for years. Maybe
It
do
could
I
to,
not have,
it
you
might
know,
be to which version of the software you have right now. Cause like I said, I'm
might
working
need
in
an upgrade. I
the,
haven't upgraded
you
anything.
have not upgraded, right?
No, my computer is
Okay.
old, and sometimes messing around. I have an Apple Mac computer, and yeah, I need to change it out. But
Right.
if I do too much, I mess around and I won't have access to stuff.
Exactly. And sometimes like I'm actually sorry that I upgraded to this new 5.0 or whatever version this is, because I like my 4.65 better. Um, and so I may try to roll
Ooh,
it back.
girl, you
Um,
don't want to know. I have a four silhouette studio business 4.4281. So that could be the reason.
very, very, very much so. Very much
My
so.
Chrome for this computer has reported that it's no longer updates for my computer. So I really don't update anything else because if your internet browser can't even be updated, I don't want to, mess with too much. So that's why I never even updated it. That makes sense.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So user error. I'm in the process of getting a new computer. It's coming. I gotta sell some shirts. Let me see what I can do.
That's right. That's right. Or we go to Best Buy. We go to Best Buy and we use a 24-month no interest, no financing, right?
Ooh, okay. Okay.
That's
You
what
put me
that's
on to
what I,
some stuff.
that's what I'm currently doing. I just got a new laptop myself and I'm paying $65 a month, but at least I got what I need in order to do what I need to do.
All right.
But I'm just
Thank you.
going through here real quick to show you again how you use the equal spacing tool, so that you can see when I equal space out these rhinestones. And it doesn't take, it's not, it's tedious, but it doesn't take forever, right? And then I'm just going to manually kind of move these out of the way because I can see right here, there's not a lot of space in there. And so I want to be able to just shift that stone over a little bit, so that there's enough space. So here we are. I'm going to zoom back out, but everybody remember what it looked like before? And now what it looks like. Now, doesn't that look 100% better than that gapping and those little overlapping of stones, offset stones that we have? That's much more
Absolutely.
professional, than what we had previously. So it does take time, but it's going to make your designs look so much better. These are supposed to be 10s. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn those back to 10s. And this was supposed to be 10s. And this inside here were 6s, but I'm going to go ahead and turn that into a color just so that we can see them. And then turn this background back black just so that we can see everything that we've done. Okay. So what I would do now that I've done the hat, and I probably am not done because I see some spaces here that I could again get where this gap, we could close this gap in a little bit more by using our equal spacing tool. But I would do the same thing. I would finish with this one, and then I would go in here and I would work in this one. Or I might look at this one and say, what happens if I change the fill? If I change it to linear, does that look better? And does that allow me less cleanup? Maybe, right? We could add some stones here, but we'll never get filled in, in this very little corner down here at the bottom. And we probably won't be able to get a stone in there because there just isn't enough space for those stones. And so more than likely what I probably would do is I would probably just keep it on keep it on the radial fill, only because I just like the fact that when it's this way, see, I can go in here and I can release the rhinestones and I could add a stone here, and I could probably shift and add another stone there, and I can still keep that same symmetry of this hat. Or I can do, because I've already reduced it down as far as it'll go, as far as I feel comfortable going. And then sometimes what you can do is you come back in here, and instead of going opposite, making it lower, let's see what happens if we make it a little higher. So instead of doing 20, we do 25, right? Now, if I'd make them bigger, but I kept everything else more narrow, it's noticeable, right? You can see that there's more spacing in these stones than there is in this area, and you might not like that. So you just kind of play around with these numbers, kind of find your happy point, your happy space. Is 18. I'll take it down. Like I said, I'll leave it at 15 because that is less cleanup because the stones are already as close as they can be. And I would then just release my rhinestones. So now that they're released, I can go in and, like I said, I can start adding stones and this doesn't need a lot. This just might need, I might would just shift that one kind of over in there. That might bring that down a little bit. And then this right here, like there really isn't enough space there really isn't enough space. Let's see. I keep saying that, but let me look. We probably could, right? Like we could shift this up and shift that up out the way for the moment. Shift that like that. Go ahead and add a stone in that corner, right? Add a stone there. And again, I'm using my Alt key and I'm dragging that stone out after I do that. So once we do that, right, we could then come back in here, right? And then we just do our equal spacing. We select that, hold our shift, come in here, make sure we select all of those stones. And let's see what happens. And then do the horizontal. Okay. So now we were able to, we added a stone in there and we were able to go ahead and equal space that out. Equal space that out. Okay. And we can work that all the way up this hat until we could go in here and do the same thing, equal space this, and keep equal spacing until we close up this gap just a little bit more. We might come in here. Can we, this right in here, there's space, there's extra space in here. See how there's so much more space? So we could actually get another rhinestone in there. Add that rhinestone, and then we could equal space this line. Oh, wait a minute, wait. You could go in here and select those. Okay, and I'll stop at this one and I will, oh, see how I missed one? One did not shift. So let me go back and see if I can find which one that might have been. No, I'm missing them. I can't see because of the black, but you get the idea. That's what you would do. You would just kind of continue to use your equal spacing tool, and you would close in those gaps as best you could. And then the same thing, the same process you would do over here on the hat. And when you were done, like I said, you would have, and I don't know if I still have. I got a few things up on my screen, so just bear. I'm just going to see. Oh, I might. So these were my finished, when I was working on the ones that I was showing you in the chat the other day. These were the ones where I had gone in and pretty much completed the equal spacing. I didn't do this one because I got tired, but I just really wanted to show you the different colorways that you could achieve when you did that. And if Mia was still on, again, you see how I've got my pieces over here. So I had some extra pieces. Here was my 1865 I did. Here was the original one that I did with the heart and the hat. And I didn't release the rhinestones yet, I don't think, on that piece, right? So if I do none, yep. So if I wanted to make another insert, all I'm going to do is just duplicate that one. And now I have another one that I can work on to create a whole totally different hat design.
That is so helpful.
Okay.
And I remember you telling me that you have lots of duplicates, and that's a very now I realize how important that is, especially for things like this where you can change out different designs and stuff.
But that's it in a nutshell. If anybody has any questions, you want me to go over anything, I'm happy to do so. Like I said, but that's what I wanted to show you guys today, how you could take a template that was already created, and if there were elements to it that you wanted to add, how you could go about embellishing that to do even more with the design than what was originally you purchased. You have so many different things you can offer to your customer now, right? You could just offer the plain, simple design as it was, right? That was our plain, simple design. They might be happy with that. You give them that, you're good to go. But if you want to elevate yourself and you want to do something different, now you can. And if you start selling designs or you start selling transfers or whatever, look at what you can do now. You can cater to, you could cater to anyone. You could take this design and customize it for almost anyone. Somebody says, I want my logo in there, depending on what their logo is, how big it is, how intricate it is. If you can get it to fit in that space and do the tracing and do the, offsetting and all of that and get it to fit, now they have a customized design just for them. I'm definitely going to take the, I probably won't, I won't sell this as a template that you could buy, right? Because it's somebody else's design. And even though I went in and I added parts to it that they didn't, I still feel like it's their original design and I don't want to intrude upon that. So if I were going to do anything with it, I would offer it as a transfer, like, because I sell rhinestones, so I could make this into a rhinestone transfer for somebody who then just wanted to press it and put it on their shirt. So I could sell that in Etsy and be okay, right? And I could then have different pictures of all the different colorways so that when people saw it, they'd be like, "Ooh, you can make the hat blue. Oh, you can make the hat red. Oh, you could put something in her hat. Yeah, I want you to customize it for me and make it a rhinestone transfer," right? And so I upsell and I make money that way. And now you can too. So if anybody has any questions, I'm glad to go ahead and take those right now. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing not stop sharing my screen, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because that's the end of the training. And then this way, if you guys have questions that you want to ask, they won't be part of this recording. So give me just a second.